When most people think of the U.S. Forest Service, the first images that probably come to mind are the fearless men and women who risk everything to protect home and humans from the threat of wildfire. Or the picturesque landscapes and majestic wildlife that spread from shore to mountain peak across this great nation. But to get a full picture of the Forest Service and its mission, you also need to consider another landscape.
Yes and no,
Instead of seas of antique trees and frolicking fauna, this landscape is dotted with cubicles and computer stations. Welcome to the Chief Information Office located in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The mission of the CIO is to deliver seamless information solutions through customer focus, innovative solutions, and openness and collaboration. So, while the people in this office may not be very visible to most visitors to Forest Service lands, they play an important role in the Forest Service's mission to sustain the health, diversity, and productivity of the nation's forests and grasslands to meet the needs of present and future generations.
Although there's a lot more information than there was yesterday when some of you were in the room.
We are the organization that supports the Forest Service by providing technology services, information services to help the agency accomplish its mission. We have a wide range of tools and support that we provide, ranging from PCs, network services, internet access, applications, land mobile radio, phone systems, data center services, and everything in between when it comes to technology and information services.
The CIO's office is home to about 650 employees nationwide. Their work is divided into areas of specialty ranging from life-saving radio communications, information technology support, and even internal Forest Service communication.
We are very information driven. We can't manage the National Forest and accomplish our mission without having technology to do that.
And in our environment, things change on such a regular basis. IT changes for the whole world so frequently that we really want to help our employees be adaptable to change, be ready for it.
As much pride as these Forest Service employees take in their jobs, there is always room for improvement. That's why the CIO has started a new realignment process. The goal is to look at all aspects of how the office does business and find ways to improve.
So based off of the information...
The purpose of the CIO realignment project is it's a strategic initiative that we had our national leadership team has sponsored. And one of the areas that we were looking to do within this project is to improve the service delivery of the CIO to all field employees.
One of our main focuses in the realignment project is process improvement. So having the ability to quickly identify an area that needs improvement, applying those tools to improve those processes and deploy them so that we are delivering our services more efficiently.
Talk to you later. Thanks. It also comes on as a kind of a logical conclusion to competitive sourcing that the Forest Service did with the CIO organization several years ago. Competitive sourcing was an administrative initiative to outsource or to look at services in the federal government that could be subject to outsourcing to the private industry or that could be retained by the federal government, and there was this whole competition process. But we did go through that in the CIO, and the net result of our organization was one that did not meet the needs of the Forest Service very well.
It's been a thorough process geared toward maximizing efficiencies and identifying weaknesses as well as best practices.
There's a lot to consider when working through an organizational structure as large as this one is with approximately 650 employees.
We don't have all the answers. We can bring in the technical solutions, but we need the ground to provide feedback to make sure we're making the right decisions to support the Forest Service.
What I've talked about with Forest Service leadership with Forest Service employees is we want to do the realignment in a cost-neutral way because we don't want to take more money away from work that's being done on the ground to support the National Forest.
We've kind of evolved from a decentralized organization, meaning that the folks that supported technology in the field actually reported to that line officer in the field, to a centralized organization. And 7 years ago is when we began centralizing this function. And since then, we've heard from our customers that we need to improve customer service. We need to strengthen our partnerships with folks in the field so that we can better understand their business needs. So we are providing the services that help them meet that mission or get their job done.
If we can retool some of the processes we use to meet service needs, then we'll be more efficient. The customers will have a lot easier time using their computers and using just a wide variety of new information technology tools that are coming on the market. And it will be just better for us all meeting the mission of the Forest Service.
We need to make these things simple for people to understand. We need to not only make things simple for people to understand how to get help, we need to add value at every time the problem is handed from one specialist to another, we need to be adding value.
That's not to say the process has been an easy one. As in everything, change is hard, but the employees are focused on their mission to serve the other departments within the Forest Service in the best way possible.
There's been a lot of pressure on the Chief Information Office to provide more and more tools for the Forest Service, to keep them running, to keep them updated, to provide the newest features and so on. And I think CIO employees feel like they have been running to catch up for the last 10 years maybe.
The family atmosphere in the CIO really helps us to understand how we interact with each other. You know, the dynamics in a family aren't always wonderful, but we get through it. And I think that's part of the commitment that we have to each other is we're not just co-workers, we're family members. So we understand that sometimes people will have difficulty working through situations, but you don't just abandon them because they're family. So we work to help them through the change, and that's really obviously one of our goals, to provide the tools for our workforce to be able to help each other as well as helping themselves move through all the emotions and ups and downs associated with the significant change.
The importance of CIO employees in all this is critical and fundamental because there is nothing I can do or a few of us can do and be successful with CIO realignment without the direct involvement and confidence and support from CIO staff. It's so critical that that they feel that they're being listened to, that their experiences at the ground level are being mined, so to speak, or analyzed and listened to, so we can then use that feedback, those good ideas, what's worked, what hasn't worked, to improve our services.
Not only do you need to change the organization, but people have to change to adapt to the organization as well. So our efforts in change management are focused less on some of the technical aspects of change management related to the organizational structure, and more to what the impact is going to be on employees and how they need to adapt or how we can help them adapt. So that's our kind of initial understanding of how we're approaching change management for realignment.
In the end, the CIO alignment will be judged by how well the office does in supporting the rangers, firefighters, and other frontline Forest Service employees. But as for the employees in the CIO office, success will always boil down to keeping a low profile. A job well done here is one that largely goes unnoticed, but makes all the difference for the other Forest Service employees, and most importantly, the people who use the Forest Service lands each and every day.
It does seem like, we're talking about kind of a very specific process, realigning the Chief Information Office of the Forest Service. But ultimately, it affects how the Forest Service is able to communicate with the citizens of the country, the people who want to use our natural resources for economic reasons, or just, your neighbors who want to go out and recreate on a national forest.
I'm most excited about the realignment project because it does connect our employees back to the field. The focus is to build strong partnerships with our customers that we provide our services to, bringing back that Forest Service family concept.
We really need to integrate back in and be a part of the agency and be recognized by them as, again, that trusted partner, that person that's also a Forest Service employee, that's there with their best interests at heart. We're there to help them, and they know it, and they come to us, and they trust that they're going to get what they need.
The outcomes that we're really looking for in change management is to build into the organization a culture that enforces and embraces change management as a, I don't want to say discipline, but as a much more recognized effort that we need to take.
This conceptual change is that all CIO employees will be able to help any Forest Service employee that has a question. It may not be, I'm going to go and fix your computer, but it may be, I'm going to connect you with the right services within the program to resolve your issue. And I see the army of one kind of thing that they put out. It's going to be the CIO of one, that you can reach out to any CIO employee no matter what their duties are and provide that kind of information to any employee within the Forest Service.
But for me personally, it really is to be able to look somebody in the eye and have a conversation with them and know that we've provided some relief to some pretty big problems that they're facing, and to know that we were able to hear what they're saying and work to find the solutions that are responsive to the needs that they're having.
It's not just changing a widget here and changing a technology there, changing what we say in certain situations. It's changing the working lives, in many cases, of our employees.
And I also want to create a CIO organization that's the best place to work in the federal government, that employees are excited, jazzed about being at work, that they feel that they're appreciated by their managers as well as the customers they support. It's so great to be able to be in a job where I can help the Forest Service accomplish its mission, and I truly feel that because one is the mission of the Forest Service, caring for the land, serving people, supporting and managing over 190 million acres of national forest that the public can use is so exciting, and it's neat to be able to provide services to help Forest Service employees support the national forest and our mission, and also that enables the public to use the services the Forest Service provides. And then I just love working with CIO employees. I love working with Forest Service employees and just all the interaction and the complexity of the job. It changes every day. It's no matter what I plan on for a given day, 2 or 3 minutes after I'm in the office, there's all these new things that are happening. And so it really keeps me on my toes and responding to it, but it's in an exciting way and a challenging way. So I love all that.